With 836 victories in 38 seasons as a Division I head coach, Rick Barnes is one of college basketball's most distinguished coaches. If you visit with him pregame in the locker room, his kindness and warmth shows through. And when it's been me, somebody has to come get us and interrupt the conversation because they can go a lot of different ways. On the court, he's an intense competitor. His teams are known for their discipline and their toughness. Although Rick's evolved into a statesman at this point in his career, and I think he always had that in him, Rick's competitive passion still burns bright as he enters season 11, leading the Volunteers. The results from the recent 2 seasons show that he remains at the top of his game, having led Tennessee to 2 consecutive trips to the Elite Eight. Rick and his wife Candy have 2 grandchildren and 6 grandchildren. Guided by their Christian faith, Rick and his family make impacts in ways that go far beyond basketball. I know personally it's fun to have those conversations with him. Rick has helped raise money for numerous ministry groups that serve underprivileged youth. His son Nick has spent a number of years overseas in service, spreading the gospel. His daughter Carly adopted 2 children from Uganda and has actually a relationship with a friend of mine who's done the same. Welcome to the stage, Rick Barnes from the University of Tennessee.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Coach. If you have questions, raise your hand. We'll start over here on the right-hand side, 3rd row, Coach.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald Leader. Rick, it'll be strange seeing you guys without Zakai at the point, but what does Jacoby bring to this team, and why was he the right fit for you guys for this season?
Well, we always had our eyes on Jacoby, but, the year he left Belmont to go to Maryland, with Zakai coming back, it was really a hard sell for us to try to convince him. But we're excited because he brings a lot. Are they similar in some ways? And the biggest one is their competitiveness. They're very, very, both of them are highly competitive. They're not going to back down. They both play the position differently, but I think that I would have loved to have those 2 guys together. I would tell you that. I really would have. But we're excited. Jacoby's come in. His durability is very similar to Zakai. He never wants to take himself out. He wants to go every rep in practice. And he probably has put in more mileage than anybody. That would have been the same about Zakai by the summertime and through here. We're lucky to have him. We're blessed to have him because he's better than I thought. And the more I'm with him, the more I realize that he's just going to continue to get better throughout the year.
Coach will stay in front of us in the podium. Myron.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. Rick, there's been a lot of talk about expanding the NCAA tournament and whether or not that's something that should happen. In your opinion, is there a right number of participants in the NCAA tournament? How would you approach it?
Myron, I don't know what the number is. I think it's awfully hard to ask a champion to win more than 6 games over 3 at the level that you go. That would be my biggest concern, but I understand people, allowing people to play into it and do that. But I just don't know how a team that has fought hard, those number 1, 2, all those seeds, to ask them to go more than 6 games. That'd be my biggest concern. What number it would be to get there, I don't know where you ever cut it off. For as long as I've been in it, they've always been 1 or 2 teams out. It used to be the first team out, and it didn't go beyond that. Now it's 3 or 4, but. I don't know what the number is. I just don't see it ever going beyond 3 weeks either. So, and I've heard some stories about how hard it is on those teams that play in and have to rush somewhere to get somewhere the next day. That doesn't seem like a fun experience either. And you'd like to think that teams that do get there, that they can look back on that experience as being one of the great experiences of their life, being a part of it. But with that said, I don't know. I don't. I just know that, again, I just don't think the champion should have to play more than 6 games.
Coach, we'll go over here on our left, 3rd row.
Rick, what makes Nate unique amongst other top five-star recruits that you've coached?
Well, what he has is similar with most all those guys, or all those guys, would be his humility. He's come in with the attitude that he's got to get better. He knows he needs to blend in with the guys on the team, and he certainly has a great respect for his teammates. And they have a great respect for him because they see how diligent he goes about his job every day. You know, he's going to work hard, and whether it's in the weight room, whatever he's got to do, he's going to do it at a max ability. And I think his teammates respect that a great deal. Nate's learning to play a different position than he's ever really played. I mean, we've kept him exclusively on the outside right now, and because of our front line depth, and he's learning to do things at a level that he's never had to, which is not unique to freshmen coming in, knowing how to go from one play to the next play, sustain it, and turn and go the other way quicker than he ever has. But we're more than pleased with him because of his humility and how hard he works.
Coach, we'll go straight in front of me, about 4 rows back.
Ryan Black, Louisville Courier-Journal. Rick, you played Kentucky 3 times last season, and I guess I was hoping, could you kind of describe what the preparation is like going into those games with the way Kentucky plays, especially offensively?
Well, obviously with their zoom action and what they like to run, and last year they had a player that was unique that could bring it down the floor, which you don't see many post players do that. But I think Mark has done a great job getting guys to play the way he wants them to play. And is it different style? I mean, there's a lot of teams that have gone to that spread set like that. And so do you have to change a little bit? You do. I mean, but that's with everybody. You have to be able to adjust game to game. And that's where I think we have an experienced team. They're able to do that a little bit quicker. And but fact is, everything he does is difficult to guard.
Coach, we're going to go down here in the second row.
Hey, Coach, Neil Blackman, Saturday Down South. Is this as versatile a front court as you've had at Tennessee? Obviously, got guys like Jalen you can use a lot of different ways, and then Felix healthy, JP healthy.
Yeah, they're different. They are, and I think the versatility is that Cade can swing out and play some perimeter too because of his ability to guard. Getting JP back, and again, we're still working him back full speed. I mean, we've needed that the last couple years, obviously, and Felix has improved. I think his confidence, his leadership is really taken. He's taken that to a different level. And then Jalen Carey, he hurt us more than any post player we played against last year. And then, but he's learning to adjust what we're doing, which is different for him. But we're excited about that. And probably the biggest surprise is Dwayne Brown as a freshman coming in. We weren't exactly sure where. We knew he wanted Dwayne, no question about that, but we weren't sure how long it would take him to grab a hold of it. I think with JP being out and he had to go up every day pretty much against Felix has helped him grow, and there's no doubt he'll be a big part of our rotation of those 5 guys.
Coach, we'll go over to our left on the aisle. Patrick?
Coach Barnes, good to see you. It's obviously well known how intense and demanding that you are as a coach for your player and wherever your feet are set. But also, we've come to know there's a strategy behind when you decide to prank your student athletes. Have you done anything that you would like to share to your current team thus far?
Well, I'm always messing with them about something. We, as you said, we're pretty intense on the court, but as soon as it's over with, that's all over with. And one of my favorite things, we were actually doing it last night. We're in our locker room. There's a big round table there where the guys come down and eat. And I was sitting there with Cade and some of the other guys last night, and they're talking about all the stories around the round table, and certainly missing some of the older guys there. But anytime they open the door for me to prank them some way, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna jump on it with them, and probably at the time they least expect it. But that's one of my favorite things, to be honest with you. After practice is going down and hanging out with those guys at dinner and locker room with them.
No more fart spray.
Well, I've done a lot worse than that. I've done some I'm not going to talk about.
Coach, we'll go in the center.
Journal. Rick, yesterday John Calipari talked about kind of leaving the game in a better place for future generations. What do you see right now as the major issue for college basketball, and how would you like to see it addressed?
Well, I think the game is that with coaches, and I think they're terrific coaches. I've said it many times. I've been in it a long time, and I haven't coached against anybody that I didn't think was a good basketball coach. But I think the key is that we continue to teach the game. We can't let other countries teach it better than us. I think you go way back in the 70s. I remember hearing Dave Gavitt talk about how all the European coaches used to come over here and want to learn the game, and went back and actually started teaching it better than we did. We got so caught up in recruiting and trying to get guys and maybe not coaching them at the level that we should have. I would love to see us some way, somehow improve at the lower level, teaching kids at a very young age to the fundamentals of the game. I mean, what they watch highlights on TV, and it's always dunking the ball or three-point shooting. And there's so much of the game that even today, with our team right now that we're coaching, that I've actually said to them a couple times in practice, I would have thought you learned that in junior high, and things that you would expect. I hope that we never get away from wanting to be teachers of the game, the fundamentals of the game of basketball. It's our game, and we should be the best at teaching it. And I don't want us to ever get away from that.
We've got time for one more. We'll go here in the third row. Third row. Good.
Rick, just how much have you seen style of play change since you've been in the league, maybe especially in the last 5-6 seasons?
Well, I can take you way back. I've seen it change for really 50 years from year to year. I remember when everybody ran the UCLA offense because that's what they did. I remember when people ran the reverse action. I remember when everybody ran the flex. You know, whatever was hot, people jump on it then. You see guys that watch the NBA and they want to take a play from the NBA, and everybody always talked to me about that. I said, the problem is the NBA's got the best players in the world, and you know, they pretty much make open shots. And so I think it goes back to, you know, I mean, I've changed throughout the year but certain things I haven't. I mean, we're running an offense now that I ran for 39 years ago. And, you know, we put it on the shelf, bring it back. And so I think there's different things. And you look at your team and you think this might work for this group. And if not, you maybe move on to something else. But everybody coaches it different. I've been blessed to be not only I thought one of the greatest things that happened to me was I had a chance as an assistant to coach in this league at Alabama for a year, Ohio State for a year, and but my first couple years in the Colonial, I learned so much from as an assistant watching so many other head coaches do things, and there are really things that we use today. I have a couple special situations I talked about a year ago that I got from Morgan Wooten back in 1980 that we ran at Illinois last year, and a lot of situations, stuff I got when I was in college doing a coaching book from studying Dean Smith. And that's, we actually worked on some of that yesterday. And so I don't know, it's just you got to, whatever you have, whatever you want, you got to adjust it with your players. And I think coaches do a good job of that. I think they look at their teams and are able to make those adjustments throughout the year and do those type things.
I'm going to squeeze one last one in here, second row. Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Hey, Rick, Kevin Skarbinski from the SEC blog. What's going to be like competing against Stephen Pearl rather than Bruce? And from your perspective, can you put in perspective what Bruce accomplished at Auburn?
Yeah, I mean, Bruce and I, you know, through the years, obviously have gotten to know each other really, really well, and we share a lot of thoughts on a lot of different things. And again, I think he did an incredible job at Auburn. But Bruce, everywhere he went, he won. I mean, he did a great job when he was at Tennessee. He did it everywhere. And I do know this, that through the years talking to him, I know how much, obviously, we know how much our sons mean to us, but I've watched Stephen, too, through the years. And, you know, Ira Bowman's on that staff, and Ira played for me at Providence for a couple of years. But I've watched Stephen. You're not going to be able to sit beside a guy like Stephen did with his dad through all those years and not be prepared to do what he's getting ready to do. I mean, I just mentioned the time I spent with Wimp Sanderson and Gary Williams and those guys. I learned from those guys, and you see what works, and you make a mental or a notebook of it. You do that, and I do know that Stephen's ready. I mean, Bruce has told me that, you know, that he knew he would be ready to do it. And again, Bruce knows what ready is as much as anybody. And it's a wonderful opportunity for Stephen, and I think he's ready to take that challenge.
Coach Barnes, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, guys.